All right, everybody, welcome to a very, very special day, a very special Saturday afternoon. I hope y'all are doing good. Yes, I am on camera. I'm rarely on camera, but I am on camera. But this is not about me. I do have with me today very, very special people back from the brink of death, folks. Literally remechanized and recharged. I have Chris Ayres here and Krystal LaPorte. I am so happy to see you. I
And
mean,
Atticus.
and Atticus. You're right. Atticus is there. I'm sorry. I'm overwhelmed with emotion to see you guys. And you look great. You look great after everything you've been through. I'm just how are you?
Uh, we're hanging in there. It's been a long process. It's been a long time. I was diagnosed over 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I was so happy that I don't have to worry about him dying of a horrible
Right,
respiratory
I'm
illness
overwhelmed with
anymore, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So we're there.
That's
That's
kind of
where
where
we
we are.
are.
Yeah.
It's been it's been so wonderful because I've gotten so much support from so many people. Oh, Atticus wants to fly and be free. Flap his ears.
Are you gonna chase
Um,
after him?
Beg pardon?
He's right here.
He's right in front of us. But I've gotten so much support from from everybody, from both the community, from the Dragon Ball fans, from the anime community, friends, family, people that I haven't heard from. I've made back connections that I haven't had in 30 or 40 years with some people, and that's been so rewarding.
And the people that we have that have been reaching out have been the most surprising
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who aren't like any of the people that live
Anywhere
far
near
away
us.
that we didn't think would reach out and
Yeah.
reached out. So it's been really nice.
Yeah.
I have a question for you that I have to start with this, all right? Somebody asked, have you ever ordered food with the Frieza voice? I never asked you that question. Have you ever done that? Ordered food with any of your
Never
voices?
ordered food.
You know what I mean?
No, cause
No.
snap.
We used to use an app, but no, I just order like people.
I know. It would just be funny if someday you did that, like ordered a pizza, like with like any of your voices, really.
I did ask in the special request once at Papa John's to draw their favorite Pokemon on the box, and someone drew a Raichu on the inside of our box.
That's pretty
It was
awesome.
awesome.
That's pretty awesome. So let's talk about what's going on. So let me get everybody
Okay.
here acquainted with what's going on. So Chris, I'm just gonna keep it very blunt. All right, very blunt. Chris has gone through a lot. All right, and right now we have a GoFundMe up because look, Chris had lung transplant surgery. We're gonna talk about that here in a minute, and medical bills in the United States are just crazy, especially for this. So I really would like it if you guys would help out
Called
here.
$1 million surgery.
They call it we're gonna talk about that here in a
It's
minute.
called
Now,
$1 million surgery.
I know that normally you guys would drop donations for me to give me super chats, but today I would like it if you instead any donations you might have for me send them over to Chris's GoFundMe. I do have the link in the description. Also, if you're a mod right now and you're watching this, please get that link and post it in the chat so people can get to it periodically, once every like 20 minutes or so that people constantly see the link, because we want to get Chris's. We want to help him out because you went through hell and back. I mean, can you talk about
Well,
both you guys? Can you talk about how?
I went through a long time without knowing it. I
Wait.
didn't know I had any.
Okay.
I thought I had a back. I've always had back problems, and 3 years, more than 3 years ago, I ended up going to see a cardiologist. I was finally convinced to go to see a doctor, and
Well, you were just going to get the insurance.
I had insurance,
It was
so I
almost
could.
routine.
I was finally going to. I had finally gotten insurance, so I went to a cardiologist, and he said, "You need to see a pulmonologist." And the pulmonologist said, "You need to go straight to the emergency room." And that day, I believe it was like March 23rd. March 23rd.
March 23rd, 2017.
Yeah, 2017. I almost died 3 times.
3 times he almost died.
3 times.
Jesus.
That was also partially because they give pulmonary patients
Albuterol.
albuterol, and I'm allergic to it. So that did not react very well with my body. They had to clear my entire family out of the room and move me to a crash room. So that wasn't fun. We then get later we get the diagnosis that COPD, emphysema, or end stage. Okay, there's a lot of terminology that you'll probably hear me talking about that is very scary.
Right.
And I'm gonna set the record straight. There's a lot of stuff about transplant that is indeed scary. But like some of the terminology, like I had end stage COPD, emphysema.
Which, by the way, my dad had the same thing, and he passed away from it. And that's why my connection to you is strong, because I've been through this with my father, and the fact that you're here is incredible. I just want to say that.
Well, and if left untreated, that is the only outcome. Fortunately, I was able to get to. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, but however, by end stage, they do not. It does not. They're actually. It might already be gone now. There's always been a push in the medical community to change the terminology, because end stage does not mean death is imminent. It means that they've ended staging, because after a certain point, it's basically just going. It's bad.
It's
Yeah.
not
It's
COPD
bad.
anymore. It's emphysema.
And you fall apart.
So it's COPD.
Yes,
Okay.
COPD branches out into emphysema and chronic bronchitis, and those are classified based on your symptoms. You had much more emphysema-like symptoms, so they call it emphysema.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Frieza.
Hello, monkeys.
Yeah, you learn something every day. But I was lucky enough to get with the medical team here at United Methodist here in Houston. Here's my boy. Look, he's running away.
And just so you know, I'm doing some work, so I'll be in and out. If anyone has a question for me, call me over. But I'm
that's my boy.
right.
He's gonna run away too. Hang on, I'm gonna readjust this a little bit. There we go. I was lucky enough to get with the team at Methodist, and they originally were going to do a. They discovered also, for lucky me, I had two arteries that were 100% blocked, so I needed a double bypass. And they were originally going to do a double lung transplant, a double bypass, double lung transplant at the same time, because my heart would not hold up for the lung transplant, my lungs would not hold up for the heart transplant. Fortunately, in 2018, I had a doctor who had to do a heart cath on me that said, "Why aren't we stenting these?" And we told him, we said, they told us that the blockage was too long to stent.
A stent is a much less.
Yeah, stent is much, you don't have to cut open, you go in through the leg, and it's a much simpler procedure. And Dr. Shaw started laughing and he said, that was back in 2017. This is 2018. We can do it now. And he went to my team and said that if they were willing to let me get the stents rather than the bypass, that he would do them himself. And he's one of the heads of the cardiology for the hospital. So my team called me and I said, absolutely. If Dr. Shaw says, then let's do it. So then all I needed was the lung transplant. And we had one dry run where I got called 2 weeks before. In fact, Krystal knows the exact date. It was the 12th because it was the premiere of Has Been Hotel in LA.
The one time I leave the state, the one time in like 3 years that I leave the state and can't get back to him, it starts 30 minutes before the premiere, and I'm in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
But
I do.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we got, we loaded. Dad and family got in the car, and we headed there, and with all my oxygen tanks, and they called us about halfway there and said, "Nope, not going to happen. It's the person who we thought it was going to go to." Because I was already told it was probably going to somebody else, but I was the next candidate.
Right.
And so I said, okay. And then I think it was the next week I had clinic, and then it was less than a week after that they called me and said, come in, you're having the transplant. And I was like, what? Because you keep thinking, okay, that call's going to come later. And when it comes, you're just kind of numb. And then, when I went into the hospital originally, I was 102 pounds. They had me gain weight before the they wanted me to gain weight before the transplant because they know you lose in the hospital. So I'd gotten up to 160, which I lost most of that. when I was in the hospital.
Right.
Now I've gained most of it back, at plus, which they now want me to lose. But it's a real, people think that you have a transplant, a heart transplant or a liver transplant or a lung transplant, and you bounce back up. For some people with a lung transplant, you won't be able to use your diaphragm for 6 months.
Like half your body.
You won't be able to cough for 6 months because your diaphragm. Fortunately, I was very lucky. God bless my donor. So grateful I'm here. The reason I'm here is because he donated, and I encourage everybody, as well as donating to the GoFundMe, please sign up to be an organ donor if you can. You really will save a life. Also, blood donation is a huge thing. All of the hospitals are always needing blood. That's going to be one of my new crusades, is organ donation and blood donation. Mm-hmm. But people think you just bounce right back. Well, I will tell you, after they took my intubation tube out, they told me, Mr. Ayres, take a deep breath. And I went, and that was it. And my eyes got huge. And they go, no, that's really good. And I'm panicking, thinking, I still want to record and stuff.
You've got lungs again, though.
I'm a director. I thought I was gonna be able to take a big deep breath, and they said no. It takes a while for your lungs to relearn how to function. So they gave me a spirometer thing that I had to inhale into. Now, I mean, I'm not fully back to where I need to be. Where
you're still healing,
full, but now I can go, and that's so much better than I did way back then. Oh. My best friend's watching the stream. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Anyway, he just texted me that he's watching the stream.
Thank you for joining, sir.
Absolutely.
He's a good egg.
He's a great egg.
So you and this happened in the middle of the night, right? This was like what?
This.
Right.
You got the call at 2 a.m.
Around 2 a.m.
Had to be at the hospital by 5.
You're right. I got the call at 2 a.m. and had to be at the hospital by 5, which meant getting my family out, getting my oxygen tanks out. I had to have several oxygen tanks, because what if I was on a dry run and I only had half a tank? I couldn't get home. I was functioning by the time they took me in for transplant. I was functioning on about 11% lung capacity, which is I will tell you what it's like. If you want to know what functioning with that is like, that's why I'm so scared about COVID, because even if you get it and survive it, it can diminish your lung capacity.
Right.
And as someone who has lived with diminished lung capacity, I don't want that for anybody. But Krystal at the first KamehamehaCon had a great way to explain it.
Yeah, did I have you do that with the coffee stirs?
I didn't do that.
Okay,
It's beautiful.
The best way to describe it, and because I asked his doctors if that's how it worked, and they're like, yeah, is the little coffee stirs that you get when you get like hotel coffee?
Yeah, the really small ones.
Yeah.
Basically, put one in your mouth, close your nose, and breathe in and out with it.
Yeah.
That's how breathing
I mean, and the thing people have to understand, I want to make this point to everybody. If you're out there and you're a smoker, you have to understand, because somebody will be ignorant and they'll say, oh, well, I don't care if I die. It's not about dying. It's about suffering. Because, getting stuff like cancer and COPD, you don't just die. You're going to be, you slowly deteriorate. And I've seen it with my own father. And you end up, you used to be able to run, you can't run, you can't even walk anymore, you need a walker, and you get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and to the point where you don't even want to even get up sometimes in the morning. And Chris had to deal with some of this kind of shit, and it's just, and I want to talk about Broly here in a minute.
A lot longer than I knew. And it will, here's the thing. The what I had will cause all, it's interesting, they told me there were a lot of problems I was experiencing that people were noticing. I was getting angry all the time. I was paranoid all the time. I was very paranoid. Didn't have much of a sense of humor anymore, which is not me at all. And probably the one that hurts the most is that I couldn't focus on anything. My attention would just immediately go away and be drawn. It's like I could be talking, like my phone just texted and I looked at it and I went back to the conversation.
You couldn't
Normally, I couldn't do that. I would be talking to you and I'd go and completely ignore that we were in the conversation.
So your brain wasn't even like.
No, your brain. Now here's the thing that scared me.
It's not getting oxygen like
Your
it
brain
used
isn't.
to.
Okay, this is the best way to describe COPD and COPD emphysema or COPD. I also couldn't. I told one of my nurses. I said, I said I have a picture of me on the wall at 160 pounds. And he said, oh, he said, how long ago was that? I said, that was like 6 years ago. He said, oh, you had it longer than that. They're guessing that I had COPD for easily 12 to 14 years.
And you couldn't even tell. It crept up on you. It snuck up on you.
Here's the thing. COPD, both in its physical effects, moves like a glacier. It moves very slowly. And so okay, so I'm 160. And what happens is your body, and this is an oversimplification of what happens. Your body says, you know what, you'd feel a lot better at 158. So you lose 2 pounds. Most people can lose 2 pounds, right? You agree? So you're trucking along there for a little while. And then your body goes, you know what, 156 would feel a little better. So you drop another couple of pounds. And then you drop another couple of pounds. But what's happening is your body is having to choose between breathing and eating.
And it burns more calories.
And it burns more calories just to breathe.
Go through. It takes more effort.
That's crazy.
And it's the same with these symptoms that happen. So a lot of people, and I will say this point blank, a lot of people blamed all of these changes in me on Krystal, and were very hostile towards her and very ugly towards her and about her. Which is interesting because another friend of mine that I've known since she was I've known this person since they were 17, and they're almost, I don't know how old they are now, but they're much older. She said, no, she said, I've been noticing this for about 8 years, which is 3 years before I met Krystal. So at least some people realize, no, it wasn't her. But
she didn't make you smoke.
No, she didn't. No, and here's the thing: she didn't make smoke. And here's I don't.
Irony.
Yeah. In fact, she's the one who tried to get me to quit smoking, and some people say, "Oh, she's just being a nag."
I got him to quit for a while and move to at least e-cigarettes, and everyone told him, no, those are worse for you.
Those are worse
than the real thing. You need to go back to cigarettes. And then when he told the doctor that when he first got admitted, she looked at him and she goes, "Why didn't you hit him? Those people are dumb."
I mean, the thing is, we have to, those of you in the chat, we really have to thank Krystal here because, look, I'm just gonna say it right point blank right now. Krystal's a good woman. Krystal has been so patient with Mr. Ayres, and to be with somebody who is possibly terminally ill and to put up with everything, not like Chris, but I mean put up with doctors and hearing all this bad news all the time, and then having to help him carry around the tanks of air, a lot of more immature people would have just, found somebody else or not worked as hard. But she was right there with this guy. She was right there with you, Chris, the entire time. And I remember when I got that text message, I was actually sitting right here in this very desk. And I got a text from Krystal saying Chris got his lung. And I could probably find it if I look through it, but I'm not going to do that right now. And I almost cried, bro, because look, I'm going to share this with people. Sean Schemmel would call me all the time, and he would tell me, we think Chris is gone. Damon's going to come in and do Frieza because we think that Chris might not come back. There was, for a time there was a belief by a lot of people that Dragon Ball Super Broly was going to be your final performance ever. You were gone. In fact, you told me even you thought you were going to be gone at one point.
Yeah, I honestly, if I had not gotten the transplant when I did, I don't know that I'd be here today.
Because they had to, because of COVID, I think they've ramped it up again.
Yeah, they've ramped up transplant again.
But they had to shut down so much of the transplant programs because it was just too dangerous to bring people in. So we realized that it really was Halloween or bust.
And just so you know,
in retrospect, we were so incredibly fortunate.
People in the chat right now are saying very nice things about Krystal. Lots and lots of really nice things. Now, we love you, Chris. Thank you, Krystal. Blessings to you both. Linda and Chris Ayres are the goats for Frieza. Krystal's a goddess. Krystal's a woman I aspire to.
Can I say something real quick? I'm going to add something to what you said.
I'm going to say something first. I know that he's done interviews with you before.
Yeah, you were there.
I know, but he's done interviews with you. He's been on a Has Been Hotel stream I've done. So
Mine are the
people
best, though. Mine are the
have
best.
kind of met him. People have kind of met him, but if you really met him and got to know him, there really wasn't a choice to either stay or go, because to know him is to love him.
Oh.
So I think
You're going to make me cry.
I think that I would rather be with you in any version than anyone else. And I think that it's a lot, if people met him, it would be a lot easier to understand why I did. It just, there is no other way.
Well, and I have to say, and I feel the exact same way about her. Sorry, I'm trying not to cry.
No, look, dude, listen,
it's so sweet. But I do have to say something.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I have to explain something to any of you that are in college, any of you that are studying right now. When I got diagnosed, Krystal was still in law school, which is, if you're in high school, imagine that times 20.
I think it depends on the person. If law didn't make me miserable, I would have been in hog heaven, because if you're in a graduate program, you are just lasered in on what you love. So while it was very hard at the time, I think at this point I've found a field of law that I can dedicate myself to so that it's much better. But if you're in it for something you don't love, it's awful. If you are, I would have been in hog heaven.
But she spent every night, my family would sit with me during the day at the hospital. Because if you're in the hospital, I will say this.
You need an advocate.
You need to have an advocate with you, because sometimes you're not thinking clearly. They may want you to sign something. You're like, well, what's being signed? There were several times that happened with me, which I greatly appreciate, having someone there.
Yeah, that, like, with your, like, last will and testament and all that.
Yeah.
We have no idea if it was drafted by a hack. I'm so glad someone...
Yeah.
By a hack?
Tell that story.
I had to write his legal documents. You don't need a lawyer to do it, but he felt better with that. But
well, you would know.
They basically were like, hey, you need to write all of his last, like, will and his directives and his... like do not resuscitates and all that, and it was just hard.
Scary.
Of course, I dumped that on her. But what the thing was, she would.
Somebody said that Krystal's the human version of a senzu bean. I thought that was kind of funny.
I love that. She would literally go to my family. My family brother would sit with me during the day, and then then around the afternoon, she would come in. And then she would stay with me all night. I would be asleep or sometimes even unconscious. She would just sit there with her textbooks and study. And then she would catch a few hours sleep, go back to the apartment, get a shower, go to school, grab a change of clothes, go back, come back. And, I'd have like an hour or a couple of hours between when she left and my parents got there. And she would always make sure that, that they had already ordered my breakfast, or that that I had more tea or more. She always made sure. And then the same thing was she was there helping take care of me while she was studying for the bar, which is one of the most difficult tests you can take.
Hell yeah, I've heard.
And pass.
And even if you live and breathe every type of law, the bar exam will suck no matter what you.
And on top of that, she was also working with the district attorney of Houston's office. So she was actually trying cases every other day of the week.
We're getting a lot of. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were finished.
I was just saying it takes a lot of strength and fortitude. When most people in her situation, I would not have batted an eye if they had run.
Well, she's a very strong woman, bro, and you're a very strong guy to be coming back. I mean, like I said, from the brink of death. We gotta talk about Dragon Ball Super Broly in a minute, but I wanted to tell everybody, please donate to the GoFundMe, because even though Chris is doing better, even though he's no longer in fear of passing away, unless he gets COVID, which hopefully that won't happen. But
I'm not letting him go do nothing.
yeah, he's on lockdown.
And just because we also don't want to fearmonger, we are constantly in contact with his doctors who have told us that if you go grocery shopping, if you get necessities, that you can do that safely, but please wear a mask and stay 6 feet away from people.
And we go in with masks and gloves.
But also don't think that you need to sit in a closet or.
By the way, just so you know, this is funny. Somebody in the chat said, Christina, you're a dream girl. Glad you found a great guy. Okay, it's Krystal, not Christina, but whatever, you tried.
It's okay. They got the first one right. Here's the thing.
For gamers out there, I will tell you this. I rolled a 20.
I thought you were going to make a Star Fox.
You rolled a 20, yeah. Now, somebody's asking about Super Chats. Do not Super Chat me today. That's going to go to me. Just please, the GoFundMe link is in the chat, also in the description. It's on your screen right now. The goal is 75,000. I want to at least get to 40,000 today. So please,
Well, but we're keeping it open beyond because the medical expenses will come. I mean, it's called $1 million surgery for a reason. I mean, I have easily a couple of thousand, even with insurance, I have a couple of $1,000 worth of dollars in medicine a month. And that's going to be most of those are going to be for the rest of my life.
We capped it for now at 75,000 also because it's a pandemic. It is hard. We don't want fans to feel like they need to constantly do it.
Yeah.
Donate because money is hard for everyone
absolutely.
now. And there are a lot of other good things worth charity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we don't want to.
Yeah, that's why somebody got very upset with me because there have been 2 different times since I put up mine that I put up somebody else's GoFundMe.
Right.
And I was like, well, they needed it.
Yeah, I mean, Tiffany Vollmer just got sick last month.
I'm not above. While right now I'm not in a financial position to help, I am in a financial position to boost the signal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you're out there, and you can't donate, just please spread the link out to your social media platforms because you have to understand these medical bills are just completely
it's super exciting incentive. I've been trying to do something every time we hit like a benchmark, and so I had asked people on Twitter what they wanted to see. Did you want to see me do a little song, maybe a little dance or something? If I could dance, and because I'm not quite sure I'm up to dancing yet. It would have to be about 30 seconds, but and everybody said we want more Atticus. So we said, okay, we'll do an Atticus fashion show of some of his best outfits, and but that's only when we hit 40,000. So.
She's asking. They're asking if she's knitting right now, which the answer is yes.
I'm making. I know, and I'm so sorry for mentioning it. Has-Been Hotel is a completely separate project that I'm doing, and there's not a lot of crossover into that into Dragon Ball Z. But I said I would make him a Has-Been Hotel hoodie, so I'm starting it, and a lot of the colors are red and black in the show, so he got a little black sleeve. It's gonna be very fashionable.
Joseph Alvarez, we do not know how old Frieza is. They never revealed it, so we don't know how old Frieza is. So let's talk about Dragon Ball Super Broly, Chris. So what y'all have to understand, right, is that this man, it's kind of mind-blowing, all right? Now, Chris, I'm going to kiss your ass here because you deserve it. This man recorded Dragon Ball Super Broly in November of 2018 with 14% lung capacity, played Frieza for the entire film, who had many lines in the movie, and literally stole the show. I mean, look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Dragon Ball Super Broly to me is the greatest Funimation dub of all time. I think Kai and the last 2 movies were great, but I think Broly was the best performer because you had Chris doing an amazing job. You had Sean Schemmel did a tremendous job as Goku. The scene where Broly's throwing him around, just tremendous. Everybody did a really good job. And even like Damian Clark as Paragus, I enjoyed that. But to me, Chris stole the show. So how in the hell did you go into that studio and pull out that Frieza when you were on the brink of death, dude? That's mind-blowing to me.
Well, it's weird. It's kind of the same way I did Super. Slow. You have to remember, I recorded Resurrection F in 2 days. That's a ton of dialogue. It took me 2 weeks to do Broly.
Right.
Because I'd gotten to the point where I could only do 2 hours a day every other day. And they were like, okay, well, if that's what you can do, that's what you can do. And I literally went in. I would come to the sessions with 2 oxygen tanks. And I'd keep it on, talk to the director. We'd get everything set up. Because I recorded remotely here in Houston at my friend Avshar's, who's got a beautiful home studio.
Was Sabbath directing?
Raleigh was directing.
Raleigh, of course, yeah.
And,
I'll be getting him on here someday.
So sometimes
he's really good.
He's amazing.
People.
And literally they'd say, okay, we're about to record. So I'd turn my oxygen all the way off. And then I'd do 2 or 3 lines. And they'd say, okay, let us sync. And so while they were syncing, I'd turn the oxygen back on and just sit there. And then say, okay, you ready to roll? Yep. Turn the oxygen off. And we normally, where I could do 30 or 40 lines an hour easy. Now I was having to take it just 1 or 2 lines, 1 or 2 lines, 1 or 2 lines, because I was having to stop and literally get air between every couple of lines.
Right.
And I cannot thank the people at Okratron and Funimation for being so patient with me. They called me and said, look, we've got an idea. They said, we know you're not in the best of health. We've got Dragon Ball Super coming up. And we'd like to do this the same way, but we've been auditioning understudies for you. In case you can't. We're using Damon.
Right.
Who's
Damon
a big friend of mine. And I love the boy dearly.
He's a prodigy. He really is.
He really is wonderful.
He's Atticus. He's Atticus's like godfather, because whenever we would hang out in Dallas, we would always have to meet at Starbucks first because we both have horrific coffee addictions. And so he was the one who always made sure that his godson got a puppuccino, which is like a little tiny Starbucks cup full of whipped cream. So he always got Atticus coffee.
And Helen McCarthy is the godmother.
Yes.
But anyway, so literally they said, what we're going to do is we're going to start you a little before we start everybody else, but we know that it's going to take longer for you to record. So we're going to record the beginning of the series with Damon, and once you've gotten past him and we feel we're safe, we're going to go back and continue with you.
Yes.
And then flip-flop things out for the DVD and the rest of the television release.
Yeah, just to clarify to the people, if you watch Super on Toonami, for the first like half of the Tournament of Power, it was Damon, and then Chris took over. But if you have the Blu-ray, it's Chris all the way through. So there's kind of 2 different.
And I think if you go back, if they rerun it, I think it's going to be me from now on.
Right. So if you watched it the first time it aired, you actually had Damon's Frieza for just those few episodes. It's a little Easter egg that'll be a trivia note in like 10 years.
You really can't tell much of it. There's one difference between Damon and I. Damon's voice for Frieza. Now my voice is a lot lower than Damon's. If you've spoken to Damon,
right?
His Frieza voice is lower than mine.
That's crazy. Well, he has a lot of range.
He's got a tremendous range.
You know, it's funny because somebody in the chat is like trying to ask if you know anything about Dragon Ball Super coming back, and not to. It's just funny because before the stream started. Look, this is not an ego thing, but I'm probably going to be the one to tell Chris when it comes back. That's the funny thing. Like, I'm going to be the one to tell him.
I'll probably do that for people at Funimation first, but...
Well, yeah, I'm sure Justin Cook will probably call you up and be like, hey, we're starting again. But there's a possibility that I'll call you up first when it starts in Japan and say, get ready, because we got a few months coming. So we're all very excited about that. I mean, it's going to come in the future because the story's not over at all. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite line that you remember doing in Broly? Because for me...
You can come back to someone else, though.
I said, my story's probably done.
What? Weren't you like one of the...
I was the absolute first loser in the Tournament of Power. I folded like a lawn chair.
But didn't you also play one of the, in Hell, one of Frieza's, like, little...
One of the fairies.
Yes,
the angel things.
The one who calls me Mr. Pouty Pants.
Yes, I'm also one of the fairies, because what better hell for him than an eternity with me?
No, that'd be heaven, but...
You know, it's funny...
That'd be a really funny joke.
It's funny because I will tell you this. I remember during the casting of Broly when I found out about Barry Blue. Barry Blue was played by, Oh my gosh, she plays Ash Ketchum. Now I forgot her voice.
Oh God! I saw Pokemon. I know her name
Oh
too.
my god, how could I forget her name? And I met her too, and she knows who I am.
Is her name Veronica?
Veronica Taylor, I think her name is.
Yes.
Maybe,
Yeah,
I don't know.
She's good people.
and I wanted Krystal to play Barry Blue because I always thought it would be funny if Chris got to play Frieza, and then Krystal was like his sort of like number one
Minion?
henchman who's always talking back to him. I thought that would be great chemistry, but I mean they picked Veronica Taylor, and she's great. I mean she's great. You know
She's phenomenal.
she's amazing.
Yeah. And we will get opportunities to work together again.
That was the most important thing.
Yeah.
It really wasn't my favorite thing in the world is to work with him because we have such a good system.
Good chemistry, yeah.
And good chemistry, but the thought that we never would be able to made it made it really hard for a lot of things.
Yeah.
But that's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing anymore.
Right. Well, no, things are better now. So I'm sorry. Your favorite line from the movie, because for me it was the line where Frieza kills Paragus, and then he tells Broly like, "Look, your dad. You accidentally killed your father." Like I thought that was just your delivery was incredible.
Yeah, it was very funny because it was written, and you just had to play it that way. I couldn't see any other way to play it, and the line was hysterical, and Raleigh was on the floor, and my engineer Avshar was on the floor, and we were all laughing so hard. I mean, I literally had to turn my oxygen back on after the line because we were all laughing so hard. Because my problem is, I was having, if you know anybody who uses oxygen, I had to have my oxygen up to an 8 most of the time.
Right.
Which most people have it up to a 2 or a 3. Mine had to be up to an 8, which meant those tanks drained like water coming out of them.
Yeah, and no, I'm gonna actually real quick adjust this because right now the GoFundMe is up to 39,320. So please drop your donations, y'all. I want to hit 40K by the end of the stream today, please. Help Chris out because this again, he's okay, but the medical bills will eat you alive. I mean, shit.
Let me put it this way: I had a bronchoscopy this week, and they called me and said, "Yep, okay, you're gonna need one in 2 more weeks." Normally, you need one in like a couple of months, or like a month, or a couple of months. Nope, they want it 2 more weeks. I'm like, okay, because that's it's. I think the copay on that alone is $300.
275.
Yeah, 275 to 300. Yeah.
And
So,
yeah.
I think I've had like 14 of them since the beginning of the year already.
You have to pay for a COVID test every
I
time.
have to pay for a COVID test every time before. So it racks it up quick.
We're gonna go to some questions here. These are questions that were asked by the Ultra Instinct members.
Okay.
If you want to become a member here on the channel, click the join button. The Ultra Instinct's the highest tier. So whenever I interview an actor, if you have a question for that actor in the future or whatever, you have tons of perks. This is a new perk that I just came up with. I will ask your question to Chris if it's appropriate. So, Chris, are you okay with answering some questions? I got about 15 questions for you.
Sure, not a problem.
All right, let's do it. The first one said, how dangerous would Frieza become if he was able to obtain God Key? Damn. Beerus level or higher. Do you have any thoughts on that, if that would happen?
You don't want to know.
Also, I want to tell a quick story about you. And I've never told this story before, but whatever. It's not that bad. So, first of all, I've told people before, like you and Krystal were there for me when I went through a very tough time in 2018. I'll never forget it. But I remember when the Broly trailers were coming out. So I had heard from one of my sources that there was a second trailer. This is right around September, right? When the hype was going on. And I remember I called Sean Schemmel and I said, yo, did you record for the second trailer? Because I knew, I'm not going to say who told me, but I knew they were recording in Texas that day. And he goes, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I'm not there. I didn't record anything. I didn't record anything for this. And I was like, interesting. So then I called you up and then you said, I can't tell you because it's NDA. So I'm like, wait a minute. Time out. So there was a trailer and Frieza was in it, but not Goku. And then it turned out to be that second trailer that was the flashback trailer that showed Frieza and Bardock and everybody. Right. And I love that trailer because that trailer got me emotional because, like, you're seeing, hello, monkeys, that classic line. And then, like, the origin, like, Goku and Bardock and Gine sending Goku to Earth, and it was just funny because I had to put two and two together. Like, wait a minute, why would Chris record a trailer and not Sean? Like, Sean's the main character, but there were no Goku lines in that trailer.
None.
But it was beautiful. I mean, the music, like, it was. Now, when you record trailers, right? Did you have to go back and redo those lines for the actual movie?
Yes.
Okay.
I did, because I think we played him a little younger in the trailer, because all we saw in the trailer were those clips. That's all we knew. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
And so he was a little bit older than we thought he was.
Yeah.
So I re-recorded it for the
movie. Yeah. So Metalheader said 970 says, in all the time being a voice actor, what has been your favorite overall line or performance in general, both in and outside of Dragon Ball, and why?
Oof. Well, I will just say this from Dragon Ball Kai. Michael Tatum wrote me one of those delicious lines you could ever have, and that's, once again, my dreams of immortality have been crushed against the shores of your incompetence.
Yes.
There's something about the way that language flows, the word choice, and everything that just makes that a fun line to do.
It's Judith Bliss's line in Hay Fever.
Well, I'm trying to remember the line.
All my dreams shattered, all my hopes and something scattered into the dust. It reminds me of...
Yeah, it's very, very, very true. It's very all is lost.
Very stage.
Yeah.
So I got a copy of the manga here. This is the Kanzenban, the Japanese manga. And here's Frieza, of course, with the pink skin. Because for Broly to match up with the manga as like a tribute to Toriyama, they actually gave him pink skin. And the thing people have to understand, right, about this manga is that, and this is something that's lost in translation, this is why Chris is perfect for this role, and why it was Michael Tatum, you said?
Michael Tatum, who wrote the dialogue for Kai.
Right. Because the way Toriyama writes Frieza's dialogue is there's a certain dialect that he uses with the katakana or the kanji. I don't really know much about it because I'm not a Japanese student. But Frieza speaks very politely. The character of Frieza always, even to his enemies, he's always like very polite. When he first shows up on Namek, like, he's nice to the Namekians. He doesn't care about them. He's a sociopath, but he's nice to them. And I feel like your voice was and your performance was perfect for that Frieza, because it's closer to Toriyama's original vision from the manga. Like, it's as close as you're going to get, because that's how he is. He's like this cunning sort of, polite aristocrat, but in secrecy, he's crazy.
Littlefinger. He's Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Well, I haven't got that far yet,
power.
so...
More power.
Chaos is a ladder.
Chaos is a ladder.
Which you're very thankful for, because he's so tiny.
Exactly.
So, did you pick a favorite? So, okay, it would be Frieza. Okay, next question from our Time Turnip. He says, my question is, was there more pressure being Frieza during Kai, or were fans more critical during Dragon Ball Super, or was it all just chill? I don't remember you being criticized that much, but yeah.
Oh, there was a lot. There was more pressure during Kai. Because of
Linda?
Because of Linda, yeah. Because Linda the Young was so beloved, and people loved Linda, and I love Linda, and that was the only thing that bothered me in all of that, was that fans had created this weird rivalry that Linda and I hated each other, and I hadn't met her, and I actually still to this day have not met her face to face.
I did.
I know she got to meet Linda before I did.
She's super nice.
She's a wonderful lady. We know each other through online presence. We talk to each other online all the time. We comment on statuses and stuff. Linda and I adore each other.
Right.
But yeah, no, I've never actually met her. But I think there was more pressure, knowing that that I was stepping into an iconic role that someone else had done for so many years, and had done so well. I think there was more pressure then. By the time the latter set in, we had already done the film, we had done several games, and now we were ramping up into retelling the film in the first arc of Super, and then by the time the second one hit, I had gotten sick. So,
well, the thing is with Linda, she was replacing the Ocean dub actress, and the whole like sort of old lady Frieza voice was started there. Like that's where it
Yeah.
came from. So with Kai, I'm guessing what happened was, and I think Sabat actually said this when I interviewed him 4 years ago. They wanted to make it just more accurate to the manga, to the original story, and that's why you got brought in because Frieza does talk fast. And I remember hearing that Linda has trouble with like really fast speak. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I've not worked with her, so.
Right. She's but she's great. She's great.
She is phenomenal.
So next question here.
I would really love to do something at some point. As much I've also said, I want to do something opposite Krystal at some point. I really want to do something with Linda at some point.
Right. No, I mean there's a scene. So there's a scene in Super where she plays Baba and you play Frieza, and that was like the closest. And you talk. That was pretty much the closest you come to that, right? I mean, wouldn't that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it was first aired, it was Damon.
Oh, that's true. But you still.
And when I recorded it, she hadn't recorded.
I see.
So I never got to hear her until I saw it with Damon.
Wow.
I haven't gotten to see it with me yet. I can't wait to.
I hope so. Okay, so the next question's from the Padgeth. He says, "What would you say is Frieza's funniest moment for you?" He writes, "A hem Broly look," which is what I mentioned earlier. Has to be one of mine. Best wishes, Mr. Ayres, and I hope you're doing well.
Oh, the moment when he kills his father.
Paragus, yeah.
Yes, the moment he does that, and it's his Academy Award moment.
What did you think about
the Oscars?
What did you think about the whole "I want to be taller" thing? Because I thought that was great.
It was funny. It's kind of but it's kind of a punchline. This one has such a great dramatic build-up, and then you go, "Oh, hey, look over here!" Yeah, it just cracked me up.
Oh, it's great.
A lot about Frieza has always amused me. I've always thought he was very funny. I've always enjoyed playing with him.
He's my favorite character. I mean, and because of the fact that, I don't model my life after the guy, obviously, but he is the most interesting character to me because he's such an immature, he's such an immature, fake, phony. Like, he pretends to be this nice, aristocratic guy for the first half of the Frieza saga, but he's got that evil side of him. And then by the end, he gets darker and darker and darker, and then Goku...
Here's a secret, my friend. Mm-hmm. Villains are much more fun to play.
I've heard that from everybody.
They're much more fun, and they're much more interesting as an actor to play. You may get a lot of accolades as the hero, but as an actor, you've got a lot more to sink your teeth into as a villain. And that, to me, what it's all about. I've never been one to want the lead. I want the lead in this. I've got to have the lead in this. I'd much rather give me something interesting as an actor. I'd much rather do something that's going to be interesting and challenging.
Don't forget, guys, to donate to the GoFundMe. It's still up. Like I said, the links are in the description. We're at 39475. I want to get to 40K by the end of the stream, so please help us out here.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yes, thank you. Next question here from Gingerbread Man. Throughout all the different roles you have played, who was the most difficult to get into the proper headspace and character for? What did you do to overcome these difficulties?
Ooh, wow.
I think he also means stage too, because you also did theater. By the way, guys, I do have an interview with Chris from 2 years ago on the channel, so check that one out too. We go into a lot of his history there too, so letting you all know that.
Yeah. For anime, not as much because you're on such a time constraint. You don't have a lot of time. You've got to go in, make a decision, and do. That's why I think improv training for voice actors is so important.
I've heard that.
But. Oh, no, for stage, I'm going to say one that might surprise you. I was thinking I was going to say Harry Rote from Wait Until Dark, but probably Epstein from Biloxi Blues. Because the character of Epstein, because I had been, for the most part of my life and career, in terms of theater, musical theater, a clown and a comic.
That was not the Epstein.
I know, you're thinking of a very bad Epstein.
No, not the bad one, yeah. Well, you have a kind of a clowny voice. I mean, you'd be a great Joker, I think.
Oh God, no. Mark Hamill and Richard Epcar have that down to a T. I do not want to encroach on because they are phenomenal.
That's true. And Mark Hamill would be a good Frieza.
And the Harley Quinn series is phenomenal. It's not either one of them. It's Alan Tudyk, yeah, who's a genius. But I'd always been noted for being the comedy guy. I was the guy that could do a pratfall. I could do physical stunts, and all of a sudden, half of the dramatic weight of this show is dropped on my shoulders. Even though Biloxi Blues is a comedy, the character of Epstein isn't.
Right.
And, where all the other guys are joking around, he's reading Kafka. And it really, all the guys thought it was all fine for them to fun and jostle around backstage waiting to get ready for the show. I would just have to pull myself aside and grab a book and just kind of get my moment away from everybody and just kind of self-isolate. And it was to just get myself into that headspace of being that alone person. That was probably the most difficult.
Okay. But how'd you overcome it? You already said you had to sit down and yeah.
Yeah, you can't. I couldn't do, like, normally I could be talking to you and turn around and walk right on stage and be right where I need to be, emotionally, physically, everywhere. That was something. There's only been 2 roles on stage that I've not been able to do that. The other was Harry Rote, who's practically a serial killer in Wait Until Dark, and in that instance, I had to kind of remove myself from everybody, and I stepped into a,
like
quiet
Heath
corner
Ledger
of the theater,
thing, right?
quiet corner of the theater, and they'd call half hour for to give the actors a warning for half hour. I would step out on the back of the building where it was real quiet and smoke. And literally the stage manager would knock on the door when it was 5 minutes. And I wouldn't say anything. I'd just come in and start the show, which is interesting because I don't start the show dour. I start the show the show for me started very upbeat, but I couldn't be around anybody. Also, the actress that I was the antagonist for, who was phenomenal. She's a brilliant actress in Houston. I told her from the get-go, I said, look, I normally get to know everybody. I'm not going to get to know you very well. I said, I think it's better if we don't know each other that well so that we can't really...
Like method acting.
No, it's not method. It's very, very anti-method. I'm very, very anti-method.
So I'm using the wrong word then. There's a phrase for that. What was it called? What you're doing?
No. Method acting. That's the right word for what I think you're thinking. But that is when someone lives as the character. They live of the theater.
Yeah, like Heath Ledger.
Yes, and in this case,
you don't want to see my pain on stage. You want to see the character's pain on stage. And because okay, here's the thing. Let's say my dog died. And a lot of times with method, people use substitutions. So I'm going to use my dog dying as a substitution for my friend dying.
Right.
Well, say I am still so emotionally wrought inside over my dog that I can't control myself. Now what you've got is an out-of-control actor on stage. And I have problems with that.
That, and the only time I've heard someone admit to being a method actor is after they treat you like an asshole.
Yeah.
That's
no,
funny.
seriously, I've never had
That's
someone
true.
tell me they are a method actor
Until they've hurt me.
Until they've done it as an excuse to be rude. And I'm like, excuse you? And they're like, oh, I'm a method actor. I'm like, so you're a dick.
You know what? I'm going to use that on Twitter. If you're ever on Twitter and you piss me off, I'm just method acting, okay? Get over it. I'm going to use that. By the way,
what she and I set up, was that I told her, my basis, so much of my basis of so much of what I do is improvisation. Not as a fight director. As a fight director, I'm very, very, it's going to happen step by step by step. I'm very meticulous. But I said, look, I think this last scene between us is a cat and mouse. I said, so during rehearsal, I'm going to try, if I have a method, it's to try a bazillion different things to see what works for me. And I hone in on it over the course of a rehearsal. I said, I'm going to try 100 billion different things on you during this scene where we're doing the cat and mouse. I said, I may be in one place one time, I may be in one place another. I said, you're not going to know what I'm going to do. I said, but I promise you this. I will never, during performance, do something that I have not done at least once in rehearsal. Because that's unfair to her. That sends her out of being in that moment.
Right.
And we had the most fun. That scene changed for us. And the director knew what we were doing and was fine with it. But she and I didn't become super close until after the show. But that was, normally I try to get very close to all the cast that I work with, but she and I stayed very much apart for that, and that's very uncommon for me.
That's kind of
Sorry,
cool
that's a
though.
long-winded answer.
By the way, this next question is actually for both of you guys, but so the way it's phrased is, how did you meet your awesome wife and fall in love together as detailed as you wish to give? Which, I mean, it's basically, I mean, you guys aren't married yet, but whatever.
No, we're not married. People
You
confuse that all the
practically
time.
are,
Yeah,
I mean.
keep asking Wikipedia to stop it because I mean I didn't get no ring. Why do I have to be a wife yet? And so,
Okay.
we're not married.
No.
We met at OhioCon.
Mm-hmm.
My friend was, I was the wrong type of. Okay, so my friend was a journalism student and she was big into anime and she wanted to do a paper on a convention. She couldn't end up going to OhioCon, so I did, and I got together with this group of people that were having you do like videos for their YouTube pages, and then I was gonna send her the videos and the information. She was gonna write a paper on it. They say I'm gonna be interviewing Chris Ayres for this. And the night before the interview, they say, so did you get a hold of him? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, we told you to interview him. And I said, I thought that they had set it up. And they were like, well, no, we just said that that's who you're going to be interviewing. So, good luck. So I was in Ohio, and I don't live in Ohio. I lived in Illinois at the time. So I called and tried to run to the only people that I knew of who lived there so I could use their kitchen, and I made him cookies to say like, hey, sorry for the inconvenience. I'm supposed to be interviewing you for this project thing. Here's some cookies.
Now, let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
Isn't that sweet? That's a very sweet story so far, right? Do you agree, Danny?
I'm here.
Do you agree that that's a very sweet story?
So far, I'm waiting for that.
Okay,
There's something missing here, though. There's got to be a payoff here. You know?
Hang on. I'm getting there.
Well, let me just say, I don't work like you famous ones.
Stop it. There have been instances. It's never a good idea. I will tell you this, unless you're a known chocolatier or pastry person, to bring a guest anything to eat at a convention. There have been instances of people drugged. There have been instances, my brother has had it happen.
You told me that once, I remember.
Krystal had it happen once.
I didn't eat it though.
Krystal didn't eat it, thank God. But I had somebody. You don't bring somebody food. It's not a good idea. Well, so I am heavily skeptical of somebody I've never met coming up and saying, "Here, have some cookies." So my first thought about this is, whoa, let's keep a distance. You can go on from there.
I mean, and at
so
that point,
I said, no, thank you. I don't take cookies from fans.
and then went back to talking to his
Whoever was
group
talking
at
to.
his table. So I just was like, oh, okay. So I turn around and he goes, you know what? Wait a minute, I'm hungry. And he grabs the cookie anyway. And so then I have the interview with you the next
day we set up the interview.
And so we also filmed him doing his mock combat panel, and then we get lunch. And so I think then a lot of it happened at lunch.
Over the course of lunch, we realized that we have like all of these similarities. We were talking about favorite music, and she's a lot younger than I am, so I'm not expecting her to say Jim Croce.
Right.
I'm not expecting
Old
that
school
at all. And so when she says that, I'm like, well, then say, well, what are some of your favorite books?
And it plays was the one that got me. Cyrano de Bergerac is both of our favorite.
Yeah, favorite play.
And then at one point we ordered water with we were ordering drinks, and so I got water with lime, and they bring me lemon instead, and that was fine with me. But he said, "Oh, could I get some lime?"
She ordered lime.
He said, "Could I get some like a side of lime?" And he remembered what I ordered, and I had got my previous relationship before that. If I ever got brought out the wrong thing at a restaurant, I wasn't supposed to make a scene by saying that it was wrong or anything. So the idea that like I wanted something and that mattered to someone, I was like, oh. So I called that his pickup line.
Ha.
Whatever works.
Well, and we stayed in touch online for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we met up again at a convention, and we stayed on touch after that, and gradually we just got closer and closer.
I think it really was, because so much of it was over text messaging and stuff. I think at one point we were like, "Are we boyfriend and girlfriend now?" And we were like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah.
I mean, you
So
guys.
it kind of dawned on both of us.
Yeah.
I knew I liked her for a long time, but you know, I didn't. I'm believe it or not, I'm actually a very shy person.
I believe it.
So I didn't.
I didn't know until the beginning of September.
Yeah.
And then it only took a week of me knowing to be
It only
like,
took a week of her knowing
well,
for her to go.
What are we gonna
do this or not?
But here's the thing. Did you know she was as good as she turned out to be? Because my God, and the don't even get me started on the cooking. The watermelon jello, there's benefits here. You know, you did good, man. Like you.
Jello retweeted me.
I wish
I
that
love
yes.
Jello. And they what?
No, I said yes, they did. That's all I was saying. Yeah.
I love Jello.
No, I had no idea how wonderful she. I knew how delightful she was. I didn't know what a wonderful human she was going to turn out to be.
Right.
He didn't like cats at first, so I
hated
assumed
cats.
this was going to be short-lived.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah, I hated cats.
By the way, I want to clarify something in the chat here. So I booted somebody because there's over here saying I support Funimation. Look, Funimation's putting out these really crappy Blu-rays in November. I don't support Funimation, but I do support some of the people who have done work for Funimation, like Chris Ayres. So Chris Ayres is my friend. Nothing to do with the company. So y'all got to grow the fuck up about that, because it's like, I know some people hate Funimation, but Chris just works. He's a contractor, and he's my friend. He's not representing the entire company. It's like, you know, come on. So, Innovative J-Dog says, is there a certain Dragon Ball character that you don't voice that you would have liked to if given the chance? Love your work and all that you do.
Oh, yeah. But the voice is voiced to perfection already. But I think Master Roshi would be so much fun, but I would never want to see anyone but Mike do that.
But he's great. I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah, that.
And Ian Corlett was good too at first. I mean, what'd you think about Greg Ayres as Frost? I thought that was brilliant casting.
I thought it was wonderful because I know in Japanese they did the same actor, but they're not the same person.
Right.
They're two different beings, and I think that was a really smart choice on their part.
Was that Sabat who did that?
Yeah, Sabat made that choice.
That's a good choice. So, Kaput says, what's your favorite Frieza line throughout the entire series? Do you remember? Because I know you did Kai like 10 years ago, so...
Once again, my dreams of immortality have been crushed against the shores of your incompetence.
Nah, you always say that one.
That's the reason was I committed it to memory the moment I said it because it was such a brilliant line.
It was. I love that line. I adore it. GP...
It flows off your tongue like Shakespeare.
No, I agree. GP says, what is the typical process for voice actors such as yourself when creating a brand new voice for an anime?
It varies. That has the anime existed before? Then, if we can, we'd like to listen to what they did before. Look at the character design. To me, character design is all out. Character design is so important because if you've got a giant guy, and you come in and do a voice like this, it's not going to work. You've got to match to the physicality of the character. And then 3, it's has to be a combination of what you and the director decide. Because ultimately, it has to be a product that you're both happy with. Now, Krystal's done a lot more original animation. And is that process much different?
You mean like non-anime, like American?
Non-anime, but
some of the shows I've done, you do the voiceover first, and then they animate it to your words.
Yeah, it's called pre-roll, right? Prelay. I'm sorry, and then post-lay, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's called post-lay.
I don't know if it's post-lay. I know that
ADR. I think it's just called ADR if you're
okay. And like scratch is for the animation for like the basically you get a scratch track where people do it, and that gives them kind of like an idea on how to draw the bodies and the movements. But then once the official actors come in and they lock down what the like the timing and the music and just all the audio, that's when they draw like the more mouth movements to get it to really fit the
Articulate,
animation
yeah.
and flaps.
Which that's the luxury of doing prelay, is that you have a lot more control
Over
the
your
director and the
Less
actor, and they have a
constricting.
lot more control over the performance.
Right. Yeah, you're less constricted. It's more fun, I assume.
That was a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you.
And also, I always start off asking the director, like, where do you want this?
Yeah.
Because
Same
if
here.
you, I mean, just if you have like a lower range, your speaking voice and high range, just narrowing it down to one of those three can really give you a clue on how they want the characterization to
Yeah.
be.
I had to do a trailer one time, and they said they wanted me to do it. It was for a show that I directed.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, we want you to do it low. So I got in there, and everything I did was in here.
Sounds
And it was
great.
all right like this. And they were like, it's fantastic, it's great, but it's too long. Can you speed it up? And I said, no. Because of the amount of breath control I have to use to control that low range
Mm-hmm.
and get that much volume out. So I said, let me try something. So I went in and I did something about like this. And it was all right in here. Sounded almost like Welcome to the World of Harry Potter. And they went, oh my God, that's perfect. And that's what they used. And it was that voice, because of where it's placed in my head and my face, I can fire like a machine gun with that.
And I mean, I guess the pitch, going even more on that, doesn't only tell you what speed you're going to be working, but
Right.
like since I'm a girl, chances are in shows I'm going to be playing someone in high school.
Mhm.
So if I say like, where do you want this to sit? And the director goes, I want you to use like kind of your lower range. I have a feeling it's not going to be a valley girl. I have a feeling it's not going to
Yeah.
be the hyper.
Right.
That, so you develop a more like maybe a more rational, motherly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that voice you just did, that deep voice, would be great for Moro. Maybe you should audition for Moro and they could play two villains.
Moral.
Moral.
Moro's
what?
the goat guy from
The new character in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
New goat. Oh, he's a goat.
Let
I
me
like
know.
goats.
Yeah, because you're the
I
goat.
like animals. So.
You are the GOAT. Let me know in the chat room if you guys agree that voice that Chris just did would be perfect for Moro, because I think that is a perfect voice for that character. He's old, he's cunning, he's evil, and he can stop you from transforming. That's pretty useful. So, all right, next question from Retro Army Vet. My question is, did you take some inspiration from the Japanese Frieza's voice for the laugh, or did you come up with your own? So for those who don't know, Ryusei Nakao has that awesome, like that awesome laugh. Did you ever hear it before you did your stuff?
Laugh, and unfortunately, I can't do the laugh right now because I'm sitting. I have to be standing to do it just because of diaphragm control, because of I'm still healing from my surgeries. This whole area, the nerves are still re-knitting. They will be for another several months.
Right.
So I don't have, and I also, because of coughing so much, I bruised several ribs. So the laughing right now would be a little difficult for me, but it's kind of close to my natural laugh when I'm really laughing. And that's going to be easier to do than to try to fake something. Krystal used to have a lot of fun at conventions because they would ask that, and I would be in the middle of giving my answer, and she would tickle me, and I would start laughing, and they would see that
That's just his laugh.
That's just my laugh. It was very funny at San Diego Comic-Con. We were talking and signing some stuff, and I would say something, I would laugh about something, just kind of ha, and you could see people in the crowd go, "Oh my God, he does laugh like that. That's how he laughs. Oh my God, that's how he laughs." So it's a little bit heightened version of my own laugh.
It's awesome though. I will say this, guys. We're at $39,599. Remember to drop your donations over at the GoFundMe. I really want to hit 40K today. Please help out because Chris is doing good, but the medical bills are very expensive from the surgery, and there's not a lot of work right now because of COVID. You know how it is. There's no conventions, and a lot of actors make a lot of their money at cons.
Don't feel like you do have to donate a lot. Even
if
somebody
it's not
wrote to me,
feasible,
if it's not feasible, don't do it.
Do not light yourself on fire to keep.
No, I agree. I'm just letting everybody know how close we are to,
Yeah.
what'd you say? I'm sorry?
Yeah. No, I told somebody wrote to me and they wrote to me privately and said, "Hey, I'm sorry I could only donate $5." And I'm like, "Why are you apologizing? You donated. I appreciate it." I said, had you not donated and boosted the signal, I would have appreciated that as well.
Right. If you cannot donate, guys,
I have been
then just share the
so
link.
the fans and the anime community for really stepping up and being such a huge help to me. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean,
I love you.
everybody do their part. Share it out. Help out. Okay, so let me get back to the questions here. Um, Will
Flipping.
Wilson writes, if you could take a trip to anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? That goes for both you
Oh,
guys, honestly.
I've always wanted to see England personally. What about you?
That's so hard because there's like so many different things I want to see. I want to. My family's from Italy, so I'd like to go back and meet some of our relatives and stuff that are still there. Yeah, I think Italy is a big one. England is another one, and New Zealand just for the scenery.
New Zealand and Australia, yeah.
Wow. Well, not even Japan?
Got quite a few.
I want to meet a koala and feed it a leaf. Apprehend one.
You should go to Japan, yo. You don't want to go to Japan? You wouldn't put that in there?
Well, I would love to go, but I really would want to learn a little bit of Japanese so that I can so that we can get around without too much trouble.
Yeah.
So I would probably I've never been out of the country, so for my first international trip, I'd like to do one where I know I can understand it. So Italy or England or New Zealand would be good.
Wait, you speak Italian? Oh.
Yeah, not as well as I used to because I have not used it since, oh my God, like 6 or 7 years. But I could get by, and I could just do Duolingo a bit and get it back. So I could.
She'd have to help me because I can't speak any.
Yes, but Japanese is completely new to me.
Well,
Ironically.
I will tell you this because I went in January. If you go to Japan and you stay in Tokyo, everything there has an English, like it's Japanese and then English. The further you get away from Tokyo, like if you go to Osaka and Hiroshima, then you're gonna have some trouble. But in Tokyo, it's extremely easy, and most of the Japanese people there, because of tourism, they speak English pretty well. So I had almost no problems, man. Like it was a piece of cake.
Amazing.
That's
That's
good.
great.
I've got a lot of people that want us to come over. Shinichi Watanabe is an old friend. Nabeshin is an old friend of ours. And I've got a very good friend that is really starting to make a name for herself as an actress and a singer over there, as she's American.
Oh, wow.
And she's lived over there for probably about 6 or 7 years. And she's really starting to make a name for herself as an actress and singer. So she's like, come over. I want you to come visit. I'm like, I wish I could.
Yeah. People are just joining
I don't know when I'll be able to travel overseas.
If we're allowed to leave the country.
If we're allowed to leave the country.
That might not be for a while. People in the chat right now are like, there's some new people coming in. We've been streaming. We've been streaming for an hour and a half, so almost an hour and a half. So if you're new, you might want to go back and check out the stream earlier. We went over Chris's health and kind of the process it took for him to recover. We went over Dragon Ball Super Broly. Chris had COPD, emphysema. He literally was at the brink of passing away, but he got a lung transplant, which was very expensive. And right now we've got the GoFundMe on. The link is in the description. Want to get to 40K today. We're very close. We're at $39,599. If you can donate, great. If not, just share it out. Because, like I said earlier, a lot of these actors, people think y'all make like 6 figures on just acting. And it's like, no, you got to do conventions. You got to do promos. Like, unless you're like a top guy. Like, you know what I mean? I just want people to know that these bills are bullshit.
As a job with the studio, I think the GoFundMe is now above what I made yearly.
There you go.
Either just at or above.
And you have literally thousands of dollars worth of medicines every month. So I mean, this is just to help out a little bit,
Yeah.
All right. Also in the chat, please stop asking the same question over and over again, dude. Please, like, come on. So, all right. Next question here from Victor Perez, who decided to get greedy. I told him 1 question, and he said 3. That's fine. He said, what made him decide to be a voice actor and a performer in general? Did he always want to do performing arts and acting? And then he said also, what's his favorite Mexican dish?
Oh, that's how it
Oh,
works.
okay. Let me start with the favorite Mexican dish because that's easy. I'm very easy to please. I like chicken quesadillas.
Real
I
ones,
also
not
like
the Taco Bell bullshit, right?
No. I also like crunchy tacos with beef and cheese only. I'm real. Spices do really weird things to my stomach, so I have to be super careful. And now, what was the first part of the question?
First part of the question was, what made you decide to become a voice actor and a performer in general? Did you always want to do performing arts and acting? Like, did you always want to do that even as a kid? We talked about that before, I think.
As a child, I wanted to be a dinosaur. I really wanted to be a dinosaur. And when I found out I couldn't be one, I wanted to be an archaeologist. And then I kind of wanted to be a magician. But there was always, my family said I was the child that you could just set up corpses and I'd entertain them.
That's great.
You could have put me in a morgue and set up all the corpses and I would just entertain them for hours.
So you were like Andy Kaufman then, like pretending there was an audience?
A song or a dance or something I'd seen on TV that I was imitating. What?
No, I was just asking if you were like Andy Kaufman. Is there some lag?
Like Andy. Did I like Andy Kaufman?
No. Is there some lag? I think we're lagging a little bit. I was just asking you if you were like Andy Kaufman to where you would perform in front of nobody just to kind of entertain yourself.
Yeah, that was kind of it. Kind of like Gilda Radner used to do the Judy Miller show, which was a little girl doing her own variety show in her room. But
I did it for frogs.
Krystal did it for her frogs.
My mom just totally told you that story while I was gone one day. I just asked for frogs. I had they were pets. They were good and they enjoyed it.
Literal frogs, like not stuffed frogs, like real alive frogs.
Literal frogs.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
No, yeah. No, I had a lot of like frogs.
I'll be right back. Give me just 1 second. I've got to go to the restroom.
Okay.
I had a lot of frogs and toads. When I was younger, I always loved animals, but I was highly allergic to dogs. My mom was allergic to cats. My sister hated cats. So like the happy medium was reptiles, and so I usually had a lot of like frogs or toads or lizards or turtles.
Reptiles.
And I mean, they couldn't tell me what they thought of it, but I would assume they liked it because I fed them. So.
By the way, guys, just real quick, OBS is being really weird right now. Like it's resizing. For some reason, it's resizing like their faces. Yeah, I know. I'm taking care of it. It's fine now, but it was kind of shrinking you and then making you too big, and you know, it's not a big deal. You know, we fixed it. Yeah, that was quick.
Like a funhouse mirror.
Like it was just being
like a funhouse mirror.
It was just being weird. There's a little bit of lag too between us, by the way. Just letting you know. I'm not really sure why.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Well,
we're not back yet.
I'm on my phone now looking at it, but I really wanted to see if I looked all funhouse mirror.
No. Okay.
It's just being really strange. Like for some reason, it keeps resizing you. Like, and I have to keep adjusting it, and it's really annoying. Like, it's really like, I'll be all right. It's just annoying me because it's just doing it by itself. I'm not even doing anything. It's just resizing it. It's annoying. Sorry, go ahead.
Technology.
See, look, it just did it again. It just did it again for no reason.
I always kind of knew that I wanted to be a performer.
Right.
I've worked on Broadway. I've done national tours, regional tours, all kinds of variety of theater. Ended up, I kind of fell bass backwards into voice acting, though. Voice acting, ADR directing. All of these actors that I was working with were all working for the studio in Houston called ADV.
Right.
You do dialects, you do this, you do that, you do this. You're a good actor. You should audition. I'm like, yeah. I'm busy. I'm in the middle of tech, middle of pre-production, middle of post-production. And finally, my brother, who had been working for him for a while, literally called the number and said, "Book the appointment." And so I called him, booked the appointment, and about 6 or 8 months later, they called me in. And about a couple of weeks after that, I got my first bit part in something, and just started going from there. And then picked up with Funimation. Well, then people gradually knew that I directed predominantly musicals, and we had shows coming into the studio that were musicals. And so they felt like I'd be the best bet to direct them. And those, they were, well, let's give them some shows that are not musicals. And then I kind of got over to directing. So.
Right. Well, what do you enjoy more, performing or directing? Sorry, there's lag now, and this is, I apologize to you, Chris, man, and to everybody in the chat.
Okay.
It's a technological problem. Like, it's literally shrinking you tiny. Like, I really apologize for this. I don't know what's going on. I'm not doing anything, and you were lagging there. So can you repeat that last part again, please? I'm really sorry. I have no idea what's going on. I think our connection might be bad or something now.
Okay. I just said, that all of these actors I had been directing were all saying that I needed to audition. My brother made the phone call and said, book the appointment, and I did, and I just started working. And then they needed directors who could work with actors acting and singing. And so they said, well, we want you to direct. And I was like, okay. So I kind of fell bass backwards into all of it with no rhyme or reason or plan.
Yeah, but do you enjoy directing more than acting nowadays?
As a rule, yes. I as much as I love acting, I think I love directing more. I realized that a long time ago, but I think it's important. I used to, when I was directing for stage, I would make it a point to get on stage at least once every couple of years, because I think it's very important that the director not forget what the actor has to put themselves through. And I think a lot of directors start directing and that's all they do. And now I'm a director. And they forget what it's like to be in the middle of it, in the thick of it. And I think it's the same for ADR.
I think it's a very similar to the kind of the essential worker argument you're having. You see the job as essential, but you see the worker as expendable. As a director, when you're on the top a lot, you often, you obviously know that actors are essential for production, but you stop thinking about them as actors and more as tools to get that vision
to get the story,
on paper,
to get the story told. Yeah.
There's really no better substitution to remember that someone is a person than to put yourself in their shoes.
Absolutely, and it's the same way with voice acting. It's very easy to become didactic and all of a sudden futz over a sigh that is going to last a tenth of a second on screen. Is it really worth our time for me to make you do that 50 times, altering it just slightly the length and the rhythm and and it becomes like, but once you've been that actor, having to say 3 words 25 times, not because it doesn't fit, but because the director's going, no, I need a little tiny more anger. No, now that's a lot of anger, but more sadness to it. That becomes frustrating as an actor because you want to do what the director wants, and every actor does. They want to try to give the director what they want. But to put yourself in their shoes also gives you a lot of compassion for what they're having to go through.
Right. By the way, real quick, I think our issues are resolved now. Real quick, I wanted to say that I have a super chat here. Thank you for the super chat, but remember, it's not about me today. Please check out the Chris Ayres Relief Fund and on the GoFundMe, because it's very important. That's where we're going to go. And once again, now we're having issues again with this, even though I think it fixed itself. But no, okay, so Wiggly Master says, my mom has COPD. You and Krystal seem happy, and that makes me happy. Enjoy yourselves. Too much crap going on in the world right now not to do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And then best wishes to your mom.
Yeah.
Absolutely best wishes to her mom.
And Yash Bent Gary says, hello, Mr. Ayres. I hope you're doing well. I have a question. What's your favorite play ever? Also, I can't donate through GoFundMe because I don't have a credit card, so I've sent this through the super chat, if that's okay. Well, I'm going to donate to Chris myself, but I appreciate it. But so what's your favorite play ever? I guess he means like Broadway play.
Cyrano de Bergerac. Cyrano de Bergerac, hands down. My preference is for the Anthony Burgess translation that was done by the RSC with Sir Derek Jacobi as Cyrano. It is breathtaking.
Brother Plan.
Brother Plan?
Yeah, that's
What?
that's the name of our next Sphinx. I decided.
What?
We want to name our next Sphinx Cyrano.
Yeah.
But it would be Cyrano de Bergerac.
That's brilliant. Actually, there's a question for you, Krystal.
Sphinx and Cyrano.
Question for Krystal. What do you think the chances are that Has Been Hotel will get picked up for a series?
It already did. They just announced it a few days
last
ago.
week. Yeah.
A24, who is responsible for
Hereditary.
The Witch, Uncut Gems coming out, Tusk, which is one of my favorite B horror films ever. They picked it up. So
They picked it up, yeah. So it's starting to move forward towards that.
So I still don't know anything as an actor. I'm not on their planning staff. I don't deal with the books. I don't have any of that. So I know as much as you do.
You just make sounds.
I just make the sounds. But they just announced it, so I am just as excited and anticipating.
I am super excited for it too, because it's a project that is, from the moment she did not tell me she'd auditioned, she said, just get cast in this really wild show, I think you'd like it. And she told me a little bit about it, and I thought, well, that sounds fun. And then when I started seeing the first animation clips, Vivian, her animation style, her sensibilities are just out of this world. And she also has in some ways she's got a background similar to ours. She was also raised on musical theater.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of a musical theater geek too. And so that element kind of creeps in as well. And it's just delightful.
And that show means so much to me because a lot of days there are companies that go, oh, we're a family, we're one big happy family. And when they do that, that means run. They're going to treat you like bad stuff.
Yeah, true.
And then make you feel guilty for not being a team player. There's only 2 companies or production teams I've worked with that said we're a family and actually treated you like it, and that's one of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of shady stuff that goes on in the business.
Oh yeah,
for sure. That's one thing that I people. I've heard a lot of stories, and not just voice acting, but the entire entertainment business. There's always something weird going on in the background that people don't even know about.
Yep.
So Joel Reefer says, what was your reaction when you found out that Frieza would come back in Dragon Ball Super? I guess, were you like, hey, more work or what? What was that about?
You're always excited when you find out you have more work. I'm not going to lie. I was surprised in Super.
Yeah. He came back twice.
What?
Resurrection F.
Oh, Resurrection F.
Well, that was the first time. Then he came back again for the Tournament of Power, so he got brought back twice.
Yeah. It's always a pleasant surprise. I know that I will continue to be doing Frieza because they're continuing to make video games
forever. They're never gonna stop.
Yeah, as long as they want me to do Frieza, I'll keep doing it. But it's nice to return to him into the show. So it was exciting.
By the way, real quick, guys, we are at 39775, which means that we're literally about $225 away from 40K. Please spread the word about everything. Help us out so that Chris can get these medical bills paid for. And, obviously there's other bills too that are going to be coming in. So for Chris and Krystal, what are your thoughts on Frozen 2 if you watched it?
I've not gotten to watch
I've not watched it yet.
We just got it on Vudu not long ago. We haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I have no excuse because I have Disney Plus. I don't even know how to explain it. I have to be in a really good mood to watch something happy like Disney. And right now with the quarantine and everything, I've not been super happy. Honestly, I'll just say it. I've been super salty. I'm like, I want to get out. I want this to be over.
Go see horror movies in theaters.
I've just been I have sodium poisoning because just salt here, there, salt everywhere. And so when I watch Disney movies, I'm like, how dare they be happy while I'm sitting here eating Postmates and doing nothing and and so I've just stayed away from Disney. Salt.
I haven't watched it. I kind of like Krystal. I have to be in a certain mood to watch certain movies. I've got a couple of things that I've gotten on Vudu that I've been dying to watch. And
salt.
It's not even salt. It's one of them I know is going to be heavy. I know it's going to be heavy. People who've seen it have told me that it's heavy. Krystal has seen it and told me that it's heavy. 1984. The John Hurt film.
Yeah, no, that'll give you a panic attack right now.
She said, don't watch it. So I know that I have to be in a certain mood to watch. If it's going to be super heavy, then I can't be. Yeah, I've got to be in a different mindset. I've got several films like that. I've got to be in the mood to watch a mystery. I've got to be in the mood to watch. I'm almost always in the mood to watch comedy or horror.
There are certain shows that like just always cheer me up that like I can watch every single day or fall asleep to, which is King of the Hill for me. That's the one show I could watch forever and a day. So that's kind of what I've just been doing. I've been doing work, setting up like sessions, or like editing video or editing audio once I'm finished with it, and I'll just have King of the Hill on.
Victor Mendoza says, does Chris Ayres do Frieza sounds for hire, like a project or ringtones? Are you allowed to do the Frieza voice outside of what Toei wants you to do? Isn't there a contract problem there or something like that?
Thing.
It is about it's about what you say.
It's about what you say.
What do you mean?
Not about the voice. Because I've used this voice for other things before.
It's essentially the same as a corset.
Yeah, it's almost the same voice that I use for corset in Penny and Stocking. It's almost the exact same voice. Slightly less English, I think. But here's the thing. There are certain things that I can't say in that voice. I can't mention anything to do with the franchise. I can't mention the name Frieza. I can't mention the name Dragon Balls. I can't mention the word Saiyan, Senzu, Shenron.
Any of that stuff.
So, I can call you Worm, or I'm usually very hesitant on Monkey because that's so specific to the show. But I can usually call you Worm or Vermin or something like that. So I have to be very, very careful with what I say.
If they are interested in it, I think we still have
the.
Oh my gosh, I don't know where to even find it. We tweeted information about it, like as an image, so it's on both of our Twitters on how to order that. But I'll have to find it and read it or something. But check Twitter and we'll.
Yeah, we can do it for a few more weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
So we got some fun because it's very funny. The first ones that wanted were Frieza and Cherry Bomb instructing people on
how to wash hands.
How to wash hands. They wanted 20-second clips so that they could play for their kids. Keep washing their hands till they had the length right. So we'd have to sit here with a stopwatch and improvise it while we were.
Use the soap.
The chat says.
It's hotter than that.
The chat says, can you call us monkeys? You gotta be careful with that, man.
I can call you monkeys. Of course I can.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, you have to be careful with that.
Yeah, because it can be misconstrued as a racial slur.
I did a character one time in Trinity Blood, named Isaac Fernando von Comfer, and for some reason, people went bananas over his voice. And it's basically everything's just right in here. And it's all kind of floaty.
Barney.
It's not quite Barney. And there was this girl who was really into the character, and she said, "Could you?"
There are kids watching. Is this?
Yeah, this is gonna be safe. This is okay. Okay. This is an outgoing voicemail message. And she said, "Could you please leave a voicemail message? Is Isaac Fernando von Comfer?" And I said, "Sure." And she was expecting I was going to say the name, and I was going to say, the Rosenkreuz, and list out the whole order. And in order to list out his entire title, I would have to have it written in front of me, even when I recorded it, even to this day, because it's so long. I know he was with the Rosenkreuz, the bad guys. But I said, let's say her name was Stephanie. I'd say, "Well, hello there. Stephanie can't come to the phone. She's tied up. Well, maybe just handcuffed a little. If she has the strength, she'll call you back later. Ciao." The girl went bananas. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
But again, I used the same voice that I used, but I didn't use anything referencing that character. There's nothing to reference that character. And that's where I feel safe in my contract with companies doing that. Because I'm not, and I feel safe with the licensors because I'm not interfering with their intellectual property.
Yeah, you can say you can't say hello, this is Frieza. Like, you can't do that, but you can say, hello, this is Chris Az, and they can't do anything about it.
Because, I mean, especially, you can't always be sure. Like, if someone said, can you sell my product as Frieza? Well, one, they're using your another person's property to unjustly profit.
Yeah.
Two, heavens forbid they ever do something wrong. You have to realize that when you connect that voice to that character and you say, hi, I'm so and so, you are giving an endorsement for anything that you do, and you're acting like that company endorses you, and they didn't volunteer to that.
No.
They just wanted you to read
You
the
have,
words.
you have to be super careful about stuff like that.
Yeah, no.
Which we're trying to be.
I think I remember hearing that. Didn't Sabat use the Vegeta voice to endorse a politician like a long time ago or something like that? Like, I remember hearing that recently.
I don't know if I even lived in Texas for that.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I don't know the details of it, but I know somebody brought it up. So we have a super chat here. Again, guys, thank you for the super chats, but the best thing to do is to donate directly to the GoFundMe for Chris so he can get help with his medical bills. We all got to help out here because he, you know, like I said before, this dude with, you know, very low lung capacity did Broly and then came back to do the rest of Super. So, you know, help out. So, hello from Germany. Freezer is my favorite. I'm sorry.
Would say register to vote. I'm saying I'm not a politician.
No,
not for any politician, but I should say please register to vote and vote.
Because it's time to do that. It's
time
to
do
register.
that. Time to register and time to make sure you vote.
Right, it's coming up. So, Niwi says, hello from Germany. Freezer's my favorite antagonist. Is Freezer, and he calls it Freezer, which is not an incorrect way to say his name. The Spanish dub calls him that.
Is that the, like, the canon German
That's a
name
canon
for it?
German translation, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right,
Freezer.
but it's also the Spanish dub uses it, and his name is a pun on the word Freezer because the whole...
Freezer, right.
Yeah.
Cooler, yeah.
Yeah, and the whole joke is that the Ginyu Force are all dairy products that go into the freezer. So you've got Raccoon, who's cream. You've got Gulda, who's yogurt. You've got Geese.
Butter Birder.
Right.
Birder.
Yeah. Yes. Butter Birder.
Wait, I'm gonna try this. Okay.
And then there's two more. Can you guess the final two?
Is Jace Cheese?
Yeah, because his name is supposed to be Geese, but they called him Jace for some reason in the dub. But it's Geese. Yeah. And then Ginyu's the last one.
I don't know what Ginyu is.
Ginyu's milk.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's why his move's called the Milky Cannon, which has all kinds of sexual innuendo when you think about it.
Yeah.
But and also somebody in the chat room was asking about what Frieza's race is, the official name of Frieza's race. There is no official name. There's a bunch of like Arcosian is not correct. If you watch my video called Arcosians Debunked on my channel, I talk about it. Frost Demons is like a joke that Cell made. You can call them whatever you want to, but as of right now, the official name based on the video games is Frieza's clan. So the whole family is Frieza. So there you go. I don't know. So real quick, we're gonna wrap it up here in a moment, but I wanted to ask you. It says here, okay, I'm going to ask from Enigma, how did you find the Frieza voice? We already answered that earlier, man. You got to rewind that.
No, I didn't.
No, I thought you did. I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought we didn't answer that one. Go for it.
It's very funny. Frieza's voice is a combination voice.
Okay.
Frieza's voice is made up of 3 parts, not equal parts. The long, he's got kind of a sibilant S when he talks.
Right.
That's very Vincent Price, isn't it?
I love it.
Okay. A lot of the Britishness from him comes from Roddy McDowell. A lot of the British, and of course a lot of the nasal of the British. Then when you throw in a little bit of John Hurt for a little bit of the arrogance, there you have the entire voice come right into play.
And you get Judi Dench.
Because the first time I recorded Frieza, Chris Sabat came out of the booth laughing. He said, dude, if I ever need someone to sound like Judi Dench in a video game, I am calling you. So apparently he thinks my Frieza sounds like Dame Judi Dench. I'll take it.
If you listen, if anyone ever has PBS, is Vicious still on PBS?
Yeah.
Watch the show Vicious. It's one of the best shows
That's
ever made.
Brilliant.
Judi Dench leaves an angry voicemail to someone, and it sounds like
It does
Chris.
sound a lot like Frieza.
Before we wrap up, I want to ask you about, horror movies and whatnot. Like, it's been a while, so
Okay.
what movies are you looking forward to? Did you hear about how Halloween? There's 2 more Halloweens coming out,
Yep.
and they're being shot side by side. I think they've been postponed for next year. What else are you looking forward to, man? Maybe not just horror, but just overall films coming out.
They have been postponed.
They
but
have been
it's because
postponed,
they
yeah.
really, their announcement was beautiful. It's like
Yeah.
how to do things.
How did they do it? I'm trying to remember.
They announced it on Twitter, and they said we're so sad, but we love our staff and we love our actors, and it wouldn't be Halloween if we weren't all here to celebrate its triumph. So we
Right.
want to make sure we're all here to see it on the other side.
There's a lot. I'm not familiar with a lot of news that's coming out. I keep my eye on Bloody Disgusting almost every day. It's a website for horror news.
Great blog, yeah.
I'm there almost every day in their news section. There's a lot of new interesting stuff.
I want to see Invisible Man, kind of.
I do want to see Invisible Man, kind of. I haven't seen that yet.
I've heard good things.
We saw Color Out of Space recently,
That was good.
which was good. It's hard to adapt Lovecraft. I've very rarely seen it done well, and this was done very well. What else? We saw something else. Oh, we saw Becky.
Did we?
Yes, we saw Becky.
When did I watch Becky?
We watched Becky the other night.
What was that one?
And yeah, you'll know when I tell you. It doesn't seem like a horror movie, and it isn't. It isn't. It's survival.
Oh yeah, that was
It's,
a good one.
It's
Smith,
very-
Kevin
no,
James.
Very, very bloody film. Kevin James is the villain. The comedian Kevin James.
Paul Blart.
Yeah, Paul Blart.
Paul
Mall
Blart
Cop.
Right.
is one of the most convincing villains I've ever seen.
Yeah,
he was
he is
amazing.
Horrifying. That was stunning. That was absolutely stunning. I'm trying to think of what we haven't seen. We're watching all the television stuff lately.
I'm gonna open up Voodoo and see what we've
She's
been
gonna open up
watching.
Voodoo and see what we've been
Well,
watching.
we have a question here. And this
answer?
is a funny one. While you're looking at the Voodoo, Cam Kilden says, "How is the relationship between you and Goku's voice actor? Do you argue often?" Sean Schemmel, look, I can't speak for you, but a lot of people misunderstand Sean Schemmel because he has a lot of anxiety and he's made mistakes in the past, but he's a genuinely good human being who's trying his best to improve. That's my opinion, but they asked you, so you go for it.
Here's the thing. When I first met Sean, I didn't get him.
Me too.
A while. It took us a while to really get each other. Now, Sean, I'll tell you this: one of the first people she contacted after the transplant was a success was Sean, because he had been blowing her phone up, wanting news. One of the first people I called when I was able to talk was Sean, because I knew how worried he had been. No, I love that man dearly. Love that man dearly.
He's probably him, Sabbath, Justin.
Yeah.
People in Dallas were some of the only. I'd say there were only about, including you, maybe 5 or 6 people that reached out to me to see how he was.
Clary.
Actually, I said 6 or
you said-
7. I
yeah,
counted
yeah.
her. Regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean,
He's a good guy.
again,
He's a real
Also,
good actor.
I don't know.
Yeah.
One of my friends who is an awesome person. I think she got hit in your ban filter automatically, but she tried to share the link to my Twitter that had the information if anyone wants to buy a ringtone or something from Chris.
oh, well, I'm sorry, my mods are in there working overtime, so...
No. I didn't even know if it was mods. I don't know if it's. I know some places automatically ban if
There's
someone
a link.
posts a link and
it
it
just
got
blocks it, yeah. I don't think she was banned, though. I think she was just blocked. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
those of you who are joining us, we've been here for almost 2 hours, so you've got a lot to listen to if you didn't hear the original or the entire thing. What'd you find on Voodoo, real quick?
Oh,
Voodoo,
what'd you
sorry,
find?
I got the text from her saying she found it. But anyway, the link is there now if it's.
And don't forget, folks, to go to the GoFundMe. That's where you can help
Oh,
Chris
Guns
out.
Akimbo was fun.
We've got $200 left, by the way. We're at
The Hunt.
39800, so help us out. Go for it.
Fantasy Island was fun. The Hunt was fun. Cats was kind of a horror movie.
Black Christmas.
Black Christmas was a lot more fun than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I heard bad things about that though.
Oh, we got As the Gods Will. That's
Yeah.
fun.
As the Gods Will.
Did you see Marriage Story?
What?
Did you see Marriage Story?
Haven't seen that. What
Is that the one with Kylo Ren? Okay.
It's
That
no,
was-
it's a movie about a couple and a divorce, and
Yeah.
it's so it's not a happy movie, but it's so
I've heard
realistic.
it's very good.
I've heard it's brilliant,
very
but
raw.
very unhappy. Not a happy. Sorry, not a happy film.
No, but Adam Driver is like literally of the performance of a career. Like it's him and Scarlett Johansson, right? And they're just the way you see the marriage falling apart. And no disrespect to you, Krystal, but the lawyers are the real villains here because in the film they're trying to work it out, but the lawyers are instigating.
That's why I became a lawyer, because I met so many ones that I would not describe as bad. I would describe as evil, like actual evil
Greedy.
people. And there just needed to be more good ones. While I was looking, I found, while I was in school, I think I did find some lawyers that I'm still in shock that a mind could be that twisted. But I found about 10 times more that are going to make the world a wonderful place.
Like Cornelia and her husband.
Yes, and I found a lot of good ones, but the ones that are bad are the ones you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
bad
just
lawyers, you do not forget them.
I don't.
you should
forget
see
them.
the
Me either.
movie. You should definitely watch the movie because Laura Dern is one of the lawyers, and she comes off so it's really like it's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie because the
No,
characters are
and
very
that's the
fun.
thing. That's why I say that they're twisted. There are some lawyers that look like they stepped out of the silver screen and are trying to play a villain, and you wonder, and they go, oh, well, I'm not the bad guy. Like they actually say the lines that villains
I'm
say.
not the bad guy, yeah.
I'm not the bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be the last question. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We're at 39,820, so we have about $180 left. Please remember to share. If you
I
cannot donate,
appreciate
that's
all of it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. It means
Yes.
so much to us.
So
And it'll still be open after this stream is over, so.
yes, the GoFundMe will be open. Please share it out. Alistair Alexander says, "What does Dragon Ball mean to all of you?" I mean, I have thoughts on it, but I would like you guys to go first because you actually worked on the show. I'm just a fan.
Well, I mean, in terms of working on the show, I obviously haven't worked on it as much. Not even like it's comical, but it really means more to me than I think I can possibly comprehend or appreciate. Some of the people that, well, I mean, right now I live in Dallas normally, so I hear the voices of some of the people that got me through some of the hardest times in my life when I see commercials and stuff, and that always gives me a really unexpected smile. But most importantly, if he didn't play Frieza, I probably wouldn't have been sent to interview him, and I would have never met him. And he's the best person I've ever met, so that show means the absolute world to me because it led me to where I'm supposed to be.
And kind of vice versa situation. It's opened up a whole new world of friends and people. It brought a love into my life that I never thought I'd have. It's been a huge blessing and a boon to my life. And literally, the first time I got sick, we did a fundraiser, and you were one of the people that led the charge that got me through that. You were, Danny, that led one of that first charges that got me through that wave of medical bills and problems we were having. I was having, and so I probably would not be here if it weren't for the Dragon Ball and the Dragon Ball community.
Yeah.
No,
Flat out, if there wasn't that first charge, you would be.
Yeah, I'd be kaput by now.
I mean, for me, like, I just kind of watched it when I was a kid and like got really into it, and I kind of became this sort of expert because I loved this so much because I understood what was really going on. But like you guys, the series really helped me meet so many wonderful people, like people who I cherish dearly and adore as friends that will be friends forever, I think. Not just you guys, but I mean other friends of mine as well. And you know, because of Dragon Ball, I was able to actually find a career that I'm really happy with, which is doing YouTube. I was able to purchase his home and pay it off, and you know, because of the Dragon Ball fandom, you know, and I worked really hard. I mean, a lot of it was right place, right time, because I started doing YouTube when Resurrection F was coming out, and the hype behind that movie was super duper huge.
Yeah.
But it means the world to me, and that's why I make videos. You know, I have a video coming out called "Why I Make Dragon Ball Videos," and I'm going to be discussing that because so many people get it wrong. They think that we're all about the money here on YouTube and all that, and yeah, you know, there is money.
Some
get
people
paid.
are, not everybody.
Right, but
it's just like some people are always in every occupation for the wrong reason.
And also, I mean, I know that this doesn't. I know I probably lose my creative card when I say that, but there's also no shame in doing something and expecting to be compensated for it.
None at all.
If you are providing someone a service,
not at all.
Yes, some people do it for the money, but food costs money, bills cost money, shelter costs money. So that there's no shame in it. The question is when does your search for money let you do either a worse job, lead you to hurt others, lead you to. So there's a balance.
Yeah.
Well, I've got good news. We're at $39,970, so $30. Somebody's got to drop 30 so we can get the 40K.
We're gonna have to start working on that video.
Narrating
I'm gonna have to narrate a video very soon.
We're very close. And just to wrap up what I was.
Thank you, Atticus. Yeah, we hit that 40K mark. We got to do the fashion show with Atticus.
A lot of people haven't said hi to Atticus yet, so that's
He's
Atticus.
just waking up.
Hello. He's a good boy.
Yeah, no, I love him. He's and just even the name Atticus pops me. But what I was gonna say was
His name is Atticus Sphinx.
Okay, now we're all in the shot.
Yeah, it's not even about the money. It's about the fact, like, obviously, if I didn't get paid, I wouldn't be able to make as much videos. But it's about sharing the love of Dragon Ball because there are so many things about Dragon Ball that people don't understand, and I feel like a lot of folks will always brush it off and say, well, this show's better, that show's better, and maybe it is. Or they'll say something like, oh, you know, it's not that deep, when it actually is that deep, but you're just not looking deep enough.
There. I will tell you, in all honesty, one of the silliest things I said when I first got into the industry and started watching, going to conventions and stuff and watching fan interactions, I said, you know, there are two shows I don't want to be a part of. And somebody said, what's that? And I said, Full Metal Alchemist and Dragon Ball Z.
Why? They're good.
Because the fans, from a distance, when you first are okay, I've not been to a lot of anime cons. It seemed crazy. They were literally practically attacking the voice actors. I'm like, I'm not comfortable with that. Well, cut to a few years later, I get cast in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So now all of a sudden I'm a part of that world. Then all of a sudden I'm Frieza. And you know what? I'm so glad I was wrong. I was completely wrong about both fandoms.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's toxic people in every fandom. I mean, it's a fact. But
and there's people in
everywhere
corner. It doesn't matter. I mean, we've always talked about this, but you cannot take a show, a convention, a place, an ideology, a website, and say everyone on here is evil. You can.
No, you can't.
You can say, hey, this is behavior I don't get along with, and it seems more concentrated in this area, but you can't really. Don't ever, I guess, completely write anyone off.
It's hard for me to do absolutes as well. A lot of people say, well, this is black and this is white, and for me, there's a lot of gray.
Because, I mean, there are things I wish I could stand up for, but then you'd be alone.
Yeah.
And you just got to take people as they are and love them.
We got $30 more. Come on, guys. We're going to end the stream, but I want to hit it before we end the stream. Man. Chris, do you mind staying on for a couple more minutes till we hit that 40K?
That's fine.
We're fine. We can be on for a couple more minutes.
Yeah, because, dude, we got $30 left. You know, I really want you guys to...
We're going to wear it down like the Jerry Lewis telethon.
I know, it seems like that, right? I'm not Jerry Lewis. And also, I just wanted to say, like, when I was at KamehamehaCon, like, people on the internet are kind of pricks sometimes, but meeting the fans in person, and people were coming up to me, and I took pictures with, like, 900 people in KamehamehaCon 1.
Here's the thing,
And
people are very quick to complain, and they will draw their swords. under the anonymity of the internet.
But in person, they won't.
People will come right up to you and say, "Oh, can you please sign this?" It's very strange.
Dude, it was weird because, like, when it comes to you, you're signing, like, Frieza stuff, and that makes sense, but people were coming up to me having me, like, sign their manga, and I'm like, I didn't write this. Like, Toriyama wrote this, but they still wanted me to sign it. I'm not going to say no.
That manga is a representation of their love for Dragon Ball, and you are probably a vital part of that. So to get all that happiness concentrated is amazing.
No, it felt nice because I took pictures with like 900 people, and I remember they were like, you know, we got to go here, we got to go there, but I couldn't say no to any of them because, like I said, like they kind of made me. Like the fandom, sometimes I'll get mad at the fandom because they don't listen or they write stuff off, but then they always do something really nice to surprise me. When Tiffany Vollmer got sick, we were able to donate a lot of money for her. Here we're about to hit 40K.
Wow.
I think there are some bad apples as always, but in general, I think most of the people in the fandom just, whether you grew up with the dub, sub, or whatever version you're watching, they seem to be genuinely good people. They really do, and I really appreciate them. Okay, it's done.
It's done.
We're at 40,595.
Wow.
Yes.
There you go.
It's done.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you. Let's see what we got going on here. I got a bunch of names here. Somebody donated $200. Yo, thank you, LTC. Thank you, Christopher Medina, Christopher La Rosa, Alex Sturk, Yash Betgary, Kyle Villarama, Rodrigo Barrera, a lot of foreign people, which I'm cool with. Alexander, that's not your real name. Michelle Goodwin, thank y'all so much, yo. Victor.
Thank you guys. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Yeah, we hit 40. We gotta, but we're not done yet, yo. Spread it out so we can hit 50K, 60, and then 75. Because, Chris, you gotta understand, man. The lung transplant, right? This is like, okay, like it's really expensive. And if Chris did not have insurance, you told me you would have to pay what, 10 grand a month for medicine without insurance?
Yeah. Without, if I didn't have insurance, it would be over 10 grand a month in just my medicines alone.
You're done, man. You're done. You know. Also, Rezukan Rikudo, about Kyle Abear doing that. He asked him to, bro, because Kyle Abear was doing that. Kyle Abear has a thing set up so you can get actors to do stuff for him, like that. Like you can actually hire him to do voices for you. Like, and Chris will do it too. It's do you guys so check out Krystal's it's still on your Twitter, right? The little thing so Chris can do a voice. Or you can do a voice.
Yeah.
We both do voices for it.
We're both doing it, but we're only doing it for a little while longer. It was only for something for the pandemic, just because once work starts gearing up again, our schedules are going to be so inconsistent that we may not always be able to do it. And once conventions are back together, usually if you can track us down at the hall, we do that for free.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
yeah.
I'm showing your Twitter off right now to everybody. It's Wow Such Krystal, WOWSUCH.
I like those.
Yeah. And check that out because there you can, if you look through, you can actually have Chris do a voice for you or Krystal, and they have a wide range, so it doesn't have to be Frieza.
We've done them both.
We've had someone wanted Atticus.
You're voicing Atticus?
Meowing.
You good little man.
That's great. That is great. All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up.
Thank you enough, and I can't thank everybody who's watched enough. Thank you for putting up with me for 2 hours.
No, man, I could talk to you forever, bro. We've had long conversations than that, yeah. But okay, yeah, Chris, man, stay healthy, dude. Are you still moving back in September?
What?
Are you still moving back in September to Dallas? Is that still the plan?
We're hoping as long as the doctors clear me, we're hoping for September, October. But that's all up to my doctors, not me.
I hope it is, but
I don't know if you guys know, but Chris actually has been living in a hotel since what, April?
No, January.
January.
Yeah.
Living in a hotel because to protect him from the
Everybody
outside
else
world.
Had one house for COVID. I've had one room.
Yep. And the GoFundMe money is going to help you with that as well.
Yes, it does. I've got, it's a great hotel. It's got a hospital rate because it's right down the street from the med center.
it's where everyone stays while they're getting treatment for not only
lung transplants, any organ transplant, or
Cancers.
cancers for the most part.
Yeah, we've got a lot of cancer patients here, a lot of
Kids.
here. Like Texas Children's Hospital has a lot of kids here and their families, and so we just all try to give each other, especially now, a nice wide berth to make sure that everybody stays safe. Everybody's wearing masks. Most everybody's wearing gloves.
Good.
We're all being real careful.
Mm-hmm.
But they offer a slightly reduced rate for if you were to just say, hey, I want to book a room. Oh, well, I want to book a room, but I'm just come out of the medical center. Then you get a slight discount on it.
That's great. Just so you know,
Still, it's been January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Is it July now?
August.
Middle
It's
of
been
August.
8 months.
15.
8 weeks. 8 months.
Oh my god,
so.
our anniversary's in 3 weeks.
Our anniversary's in 3 weeks.
Congratulations, Joe. And that reminds me, people in the chat were saying you're a cute couple. This is a real treat. You guys are great. Both of you are awesome. Guys, that's a nice person. It was a pleasure. I'm just reading some of the chat things I'm reading here.
Thank you guys all so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Get well soon, Chris. We love you, Chris. We love you, Chris. I'm just reading all the stuff for you guys. Amazing Geekdom. You've been the best thing that ever happened to Dragon Ball fandom. That's true. Good luck, Chris. I wish you good health to keep up the amazing work. Hold on. I'm still reading. Thank you, Chris. You should do the voice of Joker from the Batman series. We talked about that earlier. You don't want to step on Mark Hamill's shoes.
No, that's Mark. That's Mark's job.
You guys are in my stomping grounds. I've lived and worked in that area for 14 years. I love you both. You've been through so much. You can keep giving to this fandom. Hopefully, we can continue to give back to you. I'm glad. Hold on. I'm glad. Chris Ayres, we love you as Frieza. Stay safe, Krystal and Dan, which is me. Hold on. I'm glad Chris is doing better. Frieza got revived for a second or third time. So you've come back as much as Frieza has.
I've come back as many times as Linda has.
Oh.
Right. Good luck, Chris Ayres and Krystal. Just a lot of love, man. Just a lot of love. So,
wow.
Oh, okay. One last question. Kuzan says, do you guys have a shipping name yet?
We have a shipping name?
Yeah, like a name for your couple. It's like an anime thing. Like couples sometimes have names. Like for example, since both of y'all.
Chris.
Krystal. That's perfect.
Chris. My grandma.
So confusing.
Yeah, my grandma is called. My family's called me Chris like my whole life. So if we're together, they'll be like, "Hey, Chris," and we go, "Yes."
Yeah.
Chris and Chris.
Yep.
That's great. All right, well, we're gonna hang up here. We're gonna end the stream, but again, thank you guys so much. Real quick plug: next week, next Saturday, I will be doing another stream, but it's not gonna be with Chris Ayres. It'll be the manga review stream. So we're gonna be doing the review in the middle of the week, and then we're gonna be doing the manga on the 22nd, I believe. Let me make sure I give you guys the right information. The 22nd, yeah, next Saturday, I'll be doing a stream covering the manga with you guys, the UI members in the Discord. So check that out. Thank you so much, Chris and
Thank you guys
Krystal.
so much. And thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
Of course, I love you guys, and I'm so happy that you got your lungs and that you're looking good and you're breathing. Like I said before, it's a personal.
It's a slow but sure recovery, but it's slow but steady wins the race.
Mm-hmm.
It's a personal thing for me because, like I said before, my father passed away of COPD, and you voiced my favorite character, and you've been very good to me, and I really appreciate it. And please feel free to come back whenever we watch more horror movies. Maybe we can do a podcast about that or something. I'm gonna talk to Krystal in the future.
Oh my
too.
gosh! If you ever have a horror movie podcast episode, we are down. We are down.
Okay, good, because that October's coming up real fast, so
That's true.
We'll see.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again, and thanks everybody for listening. And the stream will be up to watch if you're new. If you just joined us, you can go back and rewind the stream when it goes up. And yeah, have a great one. We'll see you soon.